Good day to each and everyone, especially to you, sir. I am Jessamine Santiago Pacheco, under Group 4. This is the continuation of our report entitled Helping Process in Social Work. So my topic is about evaluation. Evaluation means collection of data about outcomes of a program of action related to goals and objectives. Meaning, you are going to evaluate the outcomes of the program that you implemented. Through evaluation, you will see if the implementation of that program is effective or not. So, for example, in a case of rape, ipagpalagay na lang natin na yung biktima ay tapos ng nagpa-counsel or tapos ng humingi ng tulong sa isang social worker on how she can or how she will going to overcome the trauma. And then after that, give timing for evaluation. Dito malalaman kung naging effective ba yung resulta ng pag-counsel ng isang social worker sa kanyang client, which is yung isang victim, yung victim ng rape. In social work, evaluation is a continual process where the worker keeps on gathering data which she uses in an ongoing reassessment of objectives, intervention, plans, and even the definition of the problem. So this is called ongoing evaluation. Essentials of evaluation: provide a systematic method to study a program, practice, intervention, or initiative to understand how well it achieved its goals. So evaluation can help us to determine what works well and what could be improved in a program or initiative. In social work, evaluation is a continual process where the worker keeps on gathering data which she uses in an ongoing reassessment of objectives, intervention, plans, and even the definition of the problem. So this is called ongoing evaluation. So it is important for social work in the country to be more scientific in its approach to evaluation. One fundamental attribute of a profession is the presence of a systematic body of theory. So that theory will support and substantiates the skills that characterize a profession. Another very important reason for doing evaluation is because social workers and social work agencies must answer for this work not just to the clients who are the direct users, but the public that support them. This is what professional accountability means, the demand for which has become more pronounced because of scarce resources in our country. So when you say scarce, limitado lang yung pagkukunan ng resources like food, money, other resources, insufficient for the demand. So there are two aspects of accountability. First is effectiveness. Second one is efficiency. So effectiveness, which refers to the question on whether or not the services of intervention plans are accomplishing their intended goals. So effectiveness means professional has the accountability to achieve their goals. So we can only say that the plans we implemented to the client is effective when we saw the changes. Next is efficiency. Efficiency, which refers to the cost of services and intervention plans in money, time, and other resources. So, when we say efficiency, it is the relationship between the outcomes that programs produce and the costs that are incurred in achieving such outcomes. So in other words, if you as a social worker have a quality of being efficient, you will be able to do a task successfully without wasting energy. So you can do task successfully with a minimum amount of effort. The next topic is about evaluation model. Describe what is the possible evaluators do or required, what they should do. So evaluation in social work is done on two levels. The first one is on the level of direct practice with clients. So in this level, it is understandable that a social worker should conducting a client screening and so on and so forth. So, ibig sabihin, in level number 1, social worker must do a direct practice with the clients. So, number 2, on the level of program implementation. So in this level, in program implementation, it is all about making a program work. It takes who, how, where, and what set up and run of a program want to implement. So the procedures for conducting evaluation and the problems likely to be encountered in the process are believed to be essentially the same in both social work practice and program implementation, so that there is really no need to make a sharp distinction between these two levels. An honest to goodness, evaluation in social work should utilize scientific methods to measure outcomes. Therefore, as in any good research, the evaluation is directed toward the following. So first one is measuring the outcomes of programs or specific intervention. So this specific method, it is called dependent variable. It is because of what changes as a result of the program. Next method is measuring the change processes or the nature of the intervention themselves. It is called independent variable for the reason of we are measuring the changes process of the intervention. Hudson and Grinnell offer a useful model for both program and practice evaluation called elements of program structure and logic. So it shows that the natures of an evaluation, whether program or practice evaluation, will evolve four elements or set of variables. These are called inputs, activities, outputs, and outcomes. These are the elements of program structure. First one is inputs, activities, outputs, and outcomes. So when we say inputs, are the resources necessary to implement the program or the intervention. Next is activities are the things that agencies do to produce change services. So from the word activities, these are the things that social work agencies done that promote change and brings service to the client or communities. Third one is output are the immediate result of the program or intervention plan. So meaning it is the result of the program. So next is outcome are the longer term benefits from the program or intervention plan. So when you have a better paying job in the case of the example given above, the long-term benefits of the client because of the better paying job. So when you have a better paying job, there's a possibility that you could be increase the self-esteem and have a self-support. So the outcome there is you can provide the social justifying reason for the intervention. Next is formative evaluation. Summative and formative evaluation are interrelated. Many practitioners, however, if they do practice evaluation at all, do so more in terms of evaluating the outcomes of intervention activities. That's what we call summative evaluation, and less in terms of the processes that takes place during intervention. That's we call formative evaluation. Intervention plans can be viewed on two levels. The conceptual level, which means what the worker agreed to do by the way of the plan in order to achieve her goals, which is usually in written form. The next one is operational level, which means what she actually does, the activities she and the client engage in to accomplish the goals. So from the word operational, it includes the activities. Next topic is we have here quantitative and qualitative measures. So when we say qualitative measures, like case studies where she describes the situation of the client before and after the intervention can be used. So we all know that the qualitative measures shows word elaboration. So here in qualitative measures, isang system or pamamaraan sa case study na kung saan involved dito ang pagtuklas o pag-collect ng mga information galing sa client. Then pa man, ang type of measure na to ay isang pag-investigate through academic method. Means, ginagamitan ng logic at critical thinking or critical thinking skills to properly and accurately obtain the case of the clients. So, she can use this technique to measure the effect of individual and group treatment on the individual. So, next measure is quantitative. When we say quantitative measures, are among the more recent designs for evaluating change efforts of social workers. So, Among the examples cited for evaluating individuals, change are behavioral counts, goal attainment, scaling, self-ratings on emotional states, and value clarification ratings. So, here in quantitative measures, we chose numerical method. So, this is the way to investigate the clients through numerical method. Maaari tayong gumamit dito ng mga graph, tools, or depende sa type ng clients. But the most fact about quantitative measures ay ang pagtuklas or pag-alam sa case ng client na ginagamitan ng mga numbers or related to geometric study. So, a social worker who wishes to do evaluation and wants to learn more about this and other quantitative techniques can consult standard references such as in sociology and psychology. So, although the current state of evaluation in social work leave much to be desired, there exists many self-evident data that can show the effectiveness of the interventive activities, and also programs of social workers and social work agencies. Much of this data relate to change in the client's reality or environment. Some examples are changes in agency policy, rules or procedures, utilization of needed community resources, enactment and implementation of national and local legislation. So example is laws on child abuse, tenancy laws, and anti-pollution laws. To be able to do systematic evaluation of practice with an individual, group, or community, the following are needed, which we will call the essentials for doing evaluation. So these are the essentials for doing evaluation. First one is a clear definition of the goals and objectives to be obtained. So, in this first essential, this should be written down so that the direction being pursued is clear to both worker and client. To put it simply, how can the worker tell if she has been effective in helping if she was not clear in the first place as to what it was that so she wanted to accomplish? The second essential is a clear definition of the intervention and changes activities to be undertaken. So in this second essential, all the authors who have written on the subject of evaluation, but particularly those who focus on the problem. So, who focus on the problem solving approach to practice underscore the need to be every specific in the stating interventive plans. So, for example, instead of just saying counseling, it is suggested that the worker be very specific. Example, help with learning about budgeting, assertiveness, job seeking, and etc. Because by doing this, one is better able to tell which particular activities had a major effect on the accomplishment of the goals that were established. The third essential is documentation of the activities undertaken to achieve the goal defined. So, records and other written documents of the activities undertaken and necessary for evaluation. So, familiar naman siguro tayo when we say documentation. It can provide a way of monitoring the activities of the worker and the client. So, ito yung paraan para ma-monitor yung activities ng isang client at ng social worker. So, this is undoubtedly superior to any latter attempt recalling events which have long transpired. These records also tells the worker and the client about the discrepancies between the plans and implementation, who did not follow through on their agreements, what actions were inappropriate or were handled properly, and etc. So, that's all my report about evaluation, and I hope you got some ideas or some knowledge about evaluation. Thank you.